What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another update here. We have a lot to discuss in this video this afternoon. We've had a lot happen in the market today, and it's really setting the tone for what we are most likely going to see over the next couple of weeks here. I think there's a lot of fear that's starting to come out into the market here. We're going to explain everything in this video so that you guys have a better understanding of what to expect next, as well as covering some of your favorite names here: Palantir, Sofi, HIMS, and Tesla, going over those charts here to make sure that, again, you guys have a good understanding of what to expect next in the context of what's happening in the broad market here. So before we get into all of that information, everybody, if you guys do enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you guys in these videos here, make sure you go down and hit that like button. Costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you guys are, and turn on notifications so you're notified every time these videos do end up getting posted live. And as always, massive shout out to all of the members of my private trading and investing community, Less Trades, More Profits. You guys have been absolutely crushing it as usual. I mean, what do you guys expect at this point? If you guys do want to hop in there, for those of you guys that aren't in the group yet, make sure you guys check out that link down below and use code July to get 50% off your first month to the group. It literally only comes out to $1 a day, guys. Again, you guys get access to all the full-length course curriculum videos, the daily private live streams, the pre-market plans, the full watch list of stocks and cryptos that are about to explode before they do, the macro research reports, single stock research reports, weekly market research reports. Guys, the amount of value in there is absolutely insane. If you guys want to take full advantage of everything the market has to offer, we'd love to have you in there with us. But first things first here, let's talk a little bit about what we are seeing out of these new developments with these tariffs. Again, we were coming into that July 9th deadline here, and as we are going to see, we did see that extended, but we are seeing the Trump administration here try and take more of an aggressive stance when it comes to these negotiations with these trading partners. So we are seeing today Malaysia facing a 25% tariff rate, up from 24%, Kazakhstan seeing 25%, down from 27%, South Africa receiving a 30% rate, Laos receiving a 40% rate, and Myanmar receiving a 40% rate as well. In addition to Japan and South Korea here getting both 25% tariff rates. Now, that was initially what was moving markets around significantly today, and the reason for that is that if you look at these reciprocal tariff rates here that were announced on Liberation Day, we can see that South Korea was at 25%, so nothing changed there. In Japan over here was at 24%. So again, we are seeing Japan's reciprocal tariff rate, that's what they're calling it, reciprocal, being a little bit higher than what was announced on Liberation Day, which obviously the market doesn't necessarily like here, because what we've seen out of a lot of these other trade deals is that these new rates that they have been negotiating are obviously a lot lower than what we were seeing on Liberation Day. And now when they are extending this deadline out to August here, again, they're going to try and use some of these new rates announced today as bargaining chips. And again, coming over here, we can see the White House will sign an executive order delaying July deadline of tariffs to August 1st. And again, 12 other countries are going to be receiving letters just like the ones that we were discussing before as it relates to South Korea and Japan. Now, before we start talking about some of these individual names, guys, there's a couple of things that everybody needs to be aware of as it relates to the broad market here. We are seeing treasury yields starting to move back to the upside here as the market starts to come to terms with the increase in the United States debt load coming off of the signing of the big beautiful bill here, Trump's new tax plan, which again isn't the best thing to see in the short term here. But what is interesting is this movement that we are seeing in the dollar. If you have been following along with the things that I've been saying on the public live streams that I do for you guys here on YouTube every single day at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, we've been talking about the fact that there has been a lot of foreign money that has been heavily concentrated in US markets, especially in 2024 coming into 2025, that have left US markets and repatriated back to their domestic countries there. And we have seen a lot of these foreign markets outperforming US markets this year. Now, that doesn't mean that these foreign markets are doing something so much better than the US that all of this capital is flooding in there. But if you are seeing weakness in the dollar versus this basket of 6 other currencies, and honestly a lot of other currencies as well, well, there's a lot of demand then coming back into those foreign markets for their equities and any other different types of investments. But now that the market, the US equity market, is at all all-time highs, a lot of these big institutional investors, whether they be foreign or domestic, are starting to realize that they were wrong in their assumption that all of these new plans coming out of this new administration were going to lead to the collapse of the market. There is this concept in the term of in the world of finance there, TINA, there is no alternative, and that's what, again, a lot of these investors are going to start to, again, realize about the US market, that as of right now, there really is no alternative to a lot of the growth that the United States could witness over the next couple of years. Now, again, all of this money has gone out of the US and could start to come back here, and if you start to see the dollar moving back to the upside, typically you would expect that to be a bearish signal for markets, but context is key, guys. Having the dollar move back up in this environment would actually show us that there is more demand for dollars and also more demand for US assets. So the dollar chart here is going to be one that everybody needs to keep on their radar over the next couple of weeks and months. And then just thinking about the broad market as a whole here, again, looking at the chart of S&P 500 futures here, we are very, very extended to the upside, and this move to the downside that we have witnessed so far today really isn't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things here. We have moved very aggressively to the highs here, and again, the market is going to be looking towards more developments on these trade deals here to decide where they want to position their capital next, if they want to keep deploying into the US equity markets here. But having a pullback like this, even if it were to continue for a few days, is not only healthy, but also for those of you guys in less trades, more profits, and those of you guys hopping in, is going to create an unbelievable amount of opportunity for us to continue to hammer on these upside moves. Now, first individual name that I want to talk about with you guys here is Palantir. So over the last couple of weeks here, again, this has been a name that I have outlined as one that is most likely going to be very, very volatile here at the highs. Again, another one that is very extended and has performed very well for retail investors over the last few years here, but this is going to be one that needs to grow into its valuation that it is currently commanding in the market. Now, before today, when we saw Palantir continuously banging its head here on below this 10 exponential moving average that you see in blue, that was a pretty bearish signal. But now that we are starting to shift back above here, if we can end up seeing a couple of days of consolidation using this 10 exponential moving average here as an area of support, and the overall market hangs on here as we get through this new kind of trade talk volatility, you easily could see a very strong short-term move back to the highs on Palantir. But for those of you guys that are thinking more long-term when it comes to Palantir here, again, this one is doing everything that they need to in order to continue having long-term success with the continued growth of their government contracting business and also their commercial side as well. Now, the next one that we got to talk about here is Sofi. Now, this is one that, again, that weekly breakout that we were talking about on this channel over the last couple of weeks here came to fruition. We ran through all of those short-term targets here, and we are now trading at even higher 52-week highs, which is absolutely awesome to see. Again, I own this one at $6.55. This is one that I highlighted for the Less Trades, More Profits group at around $6.55. So almost at a triple now on this one in around a year's time. So really, really strong name for us here, and we are coming into earnings. What I would say on Sofi here now is there's going to be a lot of investors now, and maybe if you guys are new to the market, that are going to look at this chart here and think to themselves, oh, this stock has been up a bunch over the last couple of weeks. This is a good time to buy. Guys, the name of the game in the market, and something that we talk about on the streams constantly, is making sure that you are not chasing. This is one that I would really like to see kind of flatline and consolidate going into their earnings, and then we can get a deeper insight into their most current financials, their user growth, and what they plan on doing with these new crypto offerings moving forward. But you guys have seen me make these calls time and time again here. The time to buy these names is after they've pulled back significantly and formed very solid bases, not after they have made very, very significant moves to the upside in short periods of time. Remember, you have to think about the market in terms of probabilities and what you would expect to see out of different situations over time. Do you really expect after a stock moves up 100% in a short period of time, is that a very smart investment or trading thesis or methodology to go in with? Again, you guys saw me make that call on Oscar and many, many other names in the past. Make sure that you guys are keeping yourselves safe and always entering at very, very solid risk to reward spots. Now, thinking about solid risk to reward spots, we actually might have one that is starting to form here on HIMS. I know a lot of you guys were able to grab this one when I was outlining this one for all of you, whether it be in the group or on these streams here at this $30 to $31 area. Again, this is honestly a perfect example here of making sure that you're buying at solid risk to reward areas and not chasing these names at the highs after they have moved up so significantly in short periods of time. But what we are seeing out of HIMS today, this candle here is showing me that we could be in for a sign of a short-term reversal here on the chart. Now, in order for me to really start paying close attention to this one, maybe for a short-term trade setup on HIMS, is we would need to see the shift above, again, that 10 exponential moving average here in blue, start to form a nice period of consolidation to really confirm to us that this downside that HIMS witnessed after Novo Nordisk kind of backed out of this partnership with HIMS, all of that volatility will be behind it. Now, the last name on the list today, guys, is Tesla. This is one that I've been getting a lot of questions about recently on the streams, in the videos, in the group, and I've told you guys time and time again that Tesla is a name that is really, really awesome for us to trade, but just in my opinion, not one that I want to hold in any of my mid to longer term investment portfolios. Now, the current situation that Tesla is dealing with here is really going to, in my opinion, make or break it over the next couple of quarters, because you have a situation in an individual in Elon Musk that loves to do a lot of everything. The Boring Company, SpaceX, Starlink, Tesla, and now is starting to get into the political landscape here. When you have a big business owner, a really significant pioneer in the technology space, quite honestly pissing off both sides of the government here, that typically is not going to bode well for any new favorable regulations or really overall the share price of the stock moving in the short term here. And that is something that investors in Tesla in the short term here are going to need to be very careful of. We haven't seen the greatest deliveries across the board recently, and at the end of the day, Tesla is a car company. If we look at Tesla's revenues, a significant portion of their revenues are coming from vehicle sales. And if they want to be able to get into and really succeed in all of the other different elements of their business, full self-driving and all of the other technology that they want to be able to unveil and release, well, they're gonna need their vehicle sales to be able to support those initiatives. And having this volatility with Elon Musk in this current administration here and on really both sides is not a bullish sign for Tesla moving forward. So guys, that is mainly going to wrap up this video here. If you guys did enjoy the information and analysis that I provided for you guys in this one, make sure you go down and hit that like button. Costs you nothing to do it, but it helps me out a whole lot in spreading this information out to as many people who actually want to learn. And again, if you're not subscribed yet, make sure you guys are and have notifications on so you never miss another one of these videos or the streams when they are posted live. So until next time, guys, I will see you. Peace.